I know you don't know it though.
What?
I found a new muse.
Why would I not know that?
That's not new for you. Why would I keep you around? Why would I keep you around? Why would I keep you around? Why would I keep?
Once is a lot of things.
Twice is a decision. Damn.
All right, settle down, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Settling Podcast with your host, Cindy Wachuku. That is me. And for those of you guys watching on YouTube, this is our very first time on the tube. And I wouldn't have done it with anyone else other than the person that is sitting next to me right now. Tolu Augustine.
Hey, what's going on?
Tolu, go ahead and tell everybody about yourself.
Hey, before I do that, I want to say, Cindy, I'm very, very proud of you, and I'm very happy for you. I walked in and I said, yo, this setup is crazy. We did a couple test shots, and I was like, damn, this shit is crazy. So you're really doing it, and you're doing it at a high level. So, you know what I'm saying? Good shit, gold star, green check mark.
Thank you.
But yeah, my name is Tolu Augustine Falana, better known as just Augustine. I'm just a cool guy. Cindy's best bud.
He is a cool guy, one of my best buds for sure, and is always supporting. Like, honestly, if you guys are familiar with the YouTube channel, you have definitely seen Tolu many a time. You've seen him slapping powder on my face, eating crab legs with me, and just really just being there.
That was a good video too.
That was.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, the powder one was my favorite one, though.
Yeah.
You remember the little cinematic ending I put to it when you decided to attack me with the entire bottle?
Yeah. That was just a fun day in general.
No, it was a fun day. We did have a good day that day. It was a good day.
Indeed.
But it's always a good time with Tolu, and today I'm excited to get into this topic with him today because it is something that he is very familiar with, and as well as me, but I think I'm experiencing it a little later in life than he did, and I feel like if anybody, he is an expert at discomfort. And that is what we're talking about today. Settling for discomfort. Now, what I mean by this is that, I'm going to go off on a tangent a little bit right now. I love TikTok for allowing people to be a lot more shameless. I feel like, a lot of people in the past have kept a lot of things to themselves when they're going through a lot of things, when they're going through trials and tribulations that, get them to the point where we see success. A lot of the times we see people go from point A to B. Sometimes we never see A. We usually just see B, and we think, it's by magic. We never see the steps, or we see the rocky road that it takes to get there. And I feel like more people only talk about these things in like testimonies in church and stuff like that. And they don't really talk about their journey enough. We really only see the destination, the final destination. And I've never been a person to be scared of like talking about going through the journey while it's occurring. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you have also never been scared to like, talk about that either.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm glad to have you on here to talk about discomfort. So, what is discomfort to you? What is putting yourself in an uncomfortable position to you?
Great question. Phenomenal question. I think being uncomfortable or like discomfort is the opposite of what your brain wants. It's the opposite of what makes sense, but it's what your spirit craves. Because, our brain, like, I think just biologically how we're wired, naturally, our minds want a routine. It wants to be safe. It wants to make sure you're safe. It wants to make sure that, it just understands what's in front of it, what's going to happen, how your day is going to go. That's just naturally how we're wired. That's what our mind wants. But our spirit craves exploration. It craves growth. It craves, all of these things that, naturally our mind just, when we're just on autopilot going through our day, it doesn't give that to us. So that's what discomfort is. I think it's just like going against whatever your mind would want, whatever that instinct is. and giving your spirit what it needs. And I think when you are uncomfortable or when you're in a space where there's discomfort, it may not feel good, but your spirit is happy. And I think that's something that you can feel. You know what I mean?
I love that. Now I completely glossed over one of the most important parts of the show, booked and busy. So for the booked and busy portion, let's see, what do I have to announce? Oh, I did just recently get a big sponsorship, a big deal with Bounty. That was really fun to do because I got to really explore my creative side, and I love to do that when it comes to ads and stuff like that. So if you guys would go ahead and support this only on Instagram. So that's Cinderella OG on Instagram. If you guys want to go ahead and tap in and support, if you can. Do you have anything for Booked and Busy?
Wait, you already posted that? The bounty
I did.
thing?
Yeah. You're gonna watch it now?
I mean, I might as well. I want to
No,
at least like it or like do
it.
something.
Okay.
Comment. Okay, let me at
You can
least
do
get
that
it
later.
pulled up.
You can do it later.
I bet.
But do you have anything that you want to like to announce? You want anything you want people to support for you or anything like that? You want to talk about CBYA?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. At CBYA online, that is my clothing company. We're one drop in. A whole lot of stuff scheduled for the summer. So yeah, but I would just recommend following me on TikTok at the moment right now.
Yes, please follow him on TikTok. He's a star.
No, I'm not her, but
no, you're a star. I'm loving your
TikTok
TikTok right now. You're a star,
man. But to your point about TikTok, I love TikTok because it's it's free.
Yeah.
It's like nobody's thinking too hard. If the angle ain't right, if the makeup ain't on, if the fit ain't perfect, if the edit ain't, you know what I'm saying? It's just post it, whatever, you know.
Exactly.
I think that rawness and that vulnerability.
Rawness is the word, exactly.
Yeah, that's what makes TikTok, and that's why I rock with it right now. You know what I mean? So yeah, follow your boy on TikTok. Anything Augustine, ANYTHING, Augustine, AUGUSTINE.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry, guys. We just had to get that out of the way. Want to make sure I didn't, miss any bases. Want to cover everything. Make sure that we're good to go before we go ahead and like really roll into the topic. But I love your definition of discomfort, and I love that your definition had nothing to do with it being a permanent spot. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of the time, and I'm going through this right now, we believe that we are in uncomfortable positions when we're transitioning or when we're making certain changes in our life. We see it as such a permanent thing. We kind of ask God why he's punishing us. We look for other ways to get out of our situations. But I am trying to realize that the position I'm in and the position that many other people are in, because I think a lot of people are transitioning right now in so many different ways. I'm trying to not see it as a punishment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's very hard because I'm like, I have been the kind of person that has always had a plan. I've always had a plan. I've always thought 5 years out. It's so weird, I know, because not a lot of people are like that. Some people go day by day. Some people go year by year. Some people go month by month. I have always had a plan, always. And for the first time in my life, I have shed so many things from myself to develop into the woman that I want to become, that it sometimes like it's kind of making me feel naked. I feel like for the first time I don't have it all planned out, and it scares me. It really does scare me. And I'm trying to like be uncomfortable with, or I'm trying to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, but just not having that plan it's a scary place to be in. And I think that that's, where I've been trying to lean more on. And this isn't a religious podcast or anything like that, but I have been trying to lean more on God and pray more and read my Bible more and my devotionals more, because that's the only place where I can find some type of comfort right now, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And you said it so perfect. You're trying to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that right there is the secret sauce. And even like with what you said about planning your life out in advance. Hey, so sorry. Wow.
Hey, we're supposed to be silent and quiet on the set.
Sorry.
Yeah, D&Ds, all that.
But yeah, what was I saying? That just threw me all the way off track.
I'm sorry.
Being comfortable with being uncomfortable and planning your life out in advance. Like, we don't realize it, but us doing that is kind of a defense mechanism because you can't really do that. No one can do that. You can't plan. You can't really make a 5-year plan. You can have a skeleton, but you can't really make a 5-year plan. But even if you do make a 5-year plan, which I guess I would recommend, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable through that entire journey because who you are in year 1 isn't going to be the same person year 3. So what you wanted and what you planned for yourself on year 1 might change. It might, you might not want to do this anymore. You might not want to go this path. You might, have prioritized this at one point, but now you grew a little bit, you lived a little bit of life, and you don't want to do that thing anymore. You don't want to do it that way anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Also, on top of that, the world changes. I don't think 2 years ago we would have known that we would have all been in the house locked down. You know what I mean? And that like things like, I don't know, work from home and just all of these things would be in place, but like they are, so imagine all of us who made a 5-year plan and then COVID happens. That just threw everyone in the world off. So it's like you have to be comfortable in those uncomfortable moments and know that like they're gonna come, and you have to give yourself the grace to know or to be able to pivot and to be able to change and to be able to throw that 5-year plan away. You know what I'm saying? Because that might not be the plan anymore.
Now, I have to ask, you are probably the only person that I have known that intentionally puts themselves in uncomfortable positions to get to where you want to be. So what are some of the things that I think, that the normal people would think that you have put yourself through to achieve certain feats?
For sure. And I try to be very, careful talking about some of the things that I do because I don't want people to do the same because I'm kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I hear it. I see it.
But yeah, like honestly, when you're in a space in life where it's just not hitting, man. It's just not hitting for whatever reason. It could be for one reason, for one area of your life, multiple areas of your life. If life just isn't hitting, if you just feel stuck, if you feel lost, whatever, and you see that you need a dramatic change. This is something I told my friend the other day too. Sounds very simple, but like it's very powerful. If your life needs a dramatic change, you have to do something dramatic in order to get that change. It doesn't come naturally. It doesn't come just you living your day to day. You know what I mean? You kind of have to send a shock to your system if you want your life to get a shock to its system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to your question, I'll talk about something I did recently that you know.
I do know.
So back in November, I moved out of my apartment and I didn't have another apartment to move into. And it wasn't because of money. It wasn't because I just couldn't find one. I live right outside of downtown Dallas. There's plenty of options. It wasn't anything, It literally was just like I sat down and every time I would get ready to go on and like tour an apartment, or I would like look up prices for an apartment, or I would like think about like movers and stuff and setting that up. It just didn't feel good. It didn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good.
It didn't feel good at all.
My lease is coming up and I'm like, the tent's looking like right now.
And it didn't feel good in that way, but it also didn't feel good like spiritually. Like it was just like, I don't know. This just doesn't feel right. This is not only do I just not want to do this, but it also just doesn't feel right. And randomly, during one of those days, I was like, man, I'm gonna just put all my stuff in storage and just thug it out. Like almost in a joking way, because I joke with myself a lot. And that felt good to say. It felt good to say, I'm just gonna sell everything, put all my clothes, all my whatever in storage, and just kind of figure it out, and maybe be on a couch for a little bit. Maybe, go back to the H. Maybe, kick it with, this person. Maybe go out of state and do whatever. Like that just felt good. You know what I mean? And that goes back to my point about like your spirit craving exploration when things are a little bit too comfortable, a little bit too smooth, and when you've been in a little bit too much of a routine, So that was me. And I want to say this too, because this is important to call out.
Okay.
With you or with anyone, I say life not hitting, and that I keep it that ambiguous because that can mean a lot for, different people.
Absolutely.
When I say my life wasn't hitting, yes, there were things that, wasn't going as right. Yeah, in certain areas of life, it wasn't good. You know what I mean? And we can expand on this as we continue talking, but things were good though. You know what I'm saying? Like during that time, I had just got out of 2 vacations. I went to LA and I went to Cancun. On top of that, like we just talked about, I did my first drop for my shorts. Very successful. My birthday was in November as well.
Yeah, you had a great birthday.
That was a phenomenal birthday. So even in the midst of all of those wins, especially from the outside looking in, it was like, man, he's winning. Bruh, like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like internally, I wasn't good and I wasn't right. And I didn't know why. That's the thing. I had no idea why. Even with all of this happening, yeah, certain things aren't right, but like that's life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's life. But I just didn't know why. And for me, I knew in order to find out that why, it wasn't gonna come just from meditating for 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take me getting uncomfortable and, having discomfort. And you might ask, okay, so what happened during that time that you were like not in an apartment and just kind of thugging it out, moving around, being a nomad? A lot, but I'm going to say this. And again, we can expand on whatever, but I'm going to say this. The reason that it's so important to get uncomfortable and to be in discomfort is because your body, your mind, your spirit, it just becomes sensitive to everything around it. So here's a perfect analogy that I gave my homegirl. Let's say it's 3:00 in the morning and you're walking through a neighborhood. And it's just dark. It's pitch black. Your senses are heightened, are they not?
Absolutely.
Every single noise, every single sound, you're just like, oh, like
on edge.
You know
anxiety going through the roof.
Anxiety through the roof. Yeah. Eyes wide open. You can see everything in the distance. You got supervision. Like you hear a pin drop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A mile away, you can hear that hoe. Just because can we cuss on here?
Yeah, you can cuss.
Okay. You can hear that hoe. Anywhere. You can hear that hoe. And that is just because your body is in fight or flight mode. It's sensitive to everything around it.
Mm-hmm.
And to bring that analogy back to life, sometimes if you're looking for an answer or a solution or a perspective, maybe too much is going on in life, or you're too comfortable and your body's not sensitive to what's around it. But when you make yourself uncomfortable, when you put yourself kind of in that fight or flight mode, you're sensitive to that answer or to God trying to tell you something, or dang, I really don't like this job. That's what it is. Or, oh, I've been depressed this whole time. I didn't even know. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Oh, these people, they've been draining me. I didn't even realize that. But you wouldn't know because you were comfortable. But once you get into that, uncomfortable space, you become a little bit more sensitive to those things. And that's the magic of being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
I will say, I specifically told people this is not a relationship podcast, nor was this a relationship episode, but I will sprinkle a little bit of that so that you guys can relate in every single way, right? Mm-hmm. So, as you know, I am currently like single. And I remember you talking to me a few months ago, and I was complaining about the guys that I had in my life and this and that. Because I won't even lie, y'all. Sometimes I can be really bad at the men that I pick and choose to allow into my life. I remember, complaining to you, and you said, Cindy, I don't think I've ever known you to be actually single, not talking to nobody and not really engaging with anybody. I think you've always had a guy in the background. And I had to really sit and think of myself, no, but yes, you're right. You know what I mean? And that was kind of like a reality check for me. Honestly, I have maybe been in one real relationship, but I wouldn't even count that because that was long distance, and that was yeah. Anyway, and I really had to sit with myself and think about like the ones that I have allowed in my life, and although I can blame them for how wrong they treated me during that time, I can also blame myself for letting it get to that point. You know what I mean? And for the first time in, that long time, I am absolutely not talking to anyone. And it actually allowed a clearer mind for me to know that this man does not have the best interest in you. Cut him off. I was gifted the spirit of discernment through allowing myself to be uncomfortable, not being able to talk to someone every day, or not being, able to feel that comfort of a romantic relationship. I'm a hopeless romantic. I am. And taking myself out of that, having someone to always like lean on, even if I didn't really like them like that, or even if I knew they weren't right for me, allowed me to have the power to, again, cut off unnecessary ties to people that were not feeding my soul, my spirit, and weren't feeding me in general. So I really love that you said that, like, you have to really shock yourself and put yourself in a completely different position that you've never been in to really see and have a clear mind of the path you actually want to go into. I love that.
And like, you'll realize, man, okay, so like you said, we don't want this to be a relationship thing.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Man, let's go there. We're gonna go there. You know what I'm saying? It's something about being alone and being like truly alone, because people will say, oh, they single, but they flirting with 3 people in their DMs. They got one person taking them out on Tuesday.
They got one person on their bed on Wednesday.
Exactly. But they're single because they're not cuffed or whatever. But like, no, when we say the word single, we're talking about like alone. Like, and people don't realize being alone doesn't just mean nobody wants you, because that's a little different. If you're alone because nobody wants you, but like you're still craving that attention, I don't know, it's not the same. I'm talking about like you're actively blocking anything that comes your way. You know what I'm saying? You have that wall up on purpose.
Whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's still being offered.
Yeah. Like, what it does is you kind of develop this relationship with yourself that you've never had before, and you value your singleness very highly. So you wouldn't give it away for just anything. I'm good on my own regardless. Like, I'm cool. So like, if you come in and we talk and you're trash, oh, I'm dipping, because the alternative to you, the alternative to being with you is being alone, and I like that. So it's cool. I'm not afraid of that. I don't run from that.
I always say we do need people, but we also need the right people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, man. And if it ain't the right people, trust me, it's just not like, yeah. Make sure it's the right people, bro.
Yeah.
Man, woman, friends, even parents sometimes. Like, just make sure whoever's in your ecosystem is feeding you how you need to be fed.
Now, do you think that sometimes when you put yourself in these uncomfortable positions that you're scared that you won't get out of it? Have you ever had a fear that you won't get out of the position that you put yourself in? Or the position that you are in without your doing, rather?
What do you mean?
Like, if it just happened to you, the uncomfortable position that you decide that you're in, if it just happened to you, or if you chose to be in that position, have you ever been scared that you can never crawl out of it? Because I'll tell you, right now I'm in a very uncomfortable position. I don't want to go too much into detail, but I've been dealing with a lot lately, a lot. And I was talking to my mom about it, and for some reason, she has this uncomforting comfort. That's what I call it. It's an uncomforting comfort in me. And she always tells me, I'm not worried about you. I'm not worried about you at all. I'm not worried about the success that will come from you. I'm not worried about that at all. I know it's going to happen. I know that you might not be seeing it for yourself right now. I know you might not be feeling it for yourself right now, but I am not worried. I'm not worried
Mhm.
that God will grant you with everything that you want and deserve because, yeah, it's coming for you. And for whatever reason, I don't believe her. I do not believe her whatsoever. I am trying to fight out of that, though, like that the uncomfortable position that I'm in is not forever.
Mhm.
That permanency that we were talking about earlier,
Mhm.
or permanence. Did I say permanency? Oh my God, I don't know English. But that permanence that we were talking about earlier, sometimes I believe that, like, I have a hard time speaking to myself like that is my forever position. Have you ever been scared that where you are is where you're gonna be forever?
For sure. For sure. Like, I've been in the darkest of dark places, bro. Like the darkest of the dark. You know what I mean? So for sure. But and Cindy, like this is really important to know. Like, you've had magic happen in your life already. You know what I'm saying? Like, even this right now, the fact that we're doing this podcast and thousands of people are gonna watch it. You know where that started from? One day you picked up a camera and said, you know what? I want to do this thing. I want to make content. I want to and then you did it and it worked. You know what I'm saying? Like, on the very same day that you picked up a camera to do that, so did 10,000 other girls on the same day. And where are they? Nothing happened. Nothing came from it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you have a lot of situations in your life. We all do, where we started somewhere and we got to the other side of that thing. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's launching something, whether it's we thought we were going to be stuck in something, but we got, to the other side of it. And for me, in this season, like, specifically talking about, like, when I was homeless for 4 months,
You were
quote
homeless,
unquote.
nigga. You were homeless. You were homeless.
And I want to be clear, it was on purpose.
It was by choice.
It was
Homeless
literally
by
on
choice.
purpose.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I guess that's a privilege in its own.
It 100%
Yeah.
is a privilege. 100%. That's why I'm very sensitive on, like,
How you word it. Yeah. I get it.
How I word it. But
I get it.
But, like, I've had things happen to me in life, and I say happen to me because it literally happened to me. Bro, like, months that felt like a nightmare. You know what I'm saying? And I got on the other side of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. I'm cool. I'm living. I can look around. It's money. It's opportunity. It's friends. I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? So I think back to those times.
Yeah.
And know that very literally nothing lasts. Nothing lasts.
That's true.
It will not stay.
Yeah.
It might be a month. It might be 4. It might be a year. It might be 2. But at the end of the day, like, and this is where self-love comes in. It's like, bro. And it's like, I'm glad you brought up your mom because she sees something in you that you might not see. You need those people too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're in a situation and you might really be like, bro, I'm a piece of, or I'm like, I suck. Like, I can't do nothing right. I can't.
Or I don't want to be here anymore.
I don't want to be here anymore. This happens for everybody else. Why can't it happen for me? You might, you know what I'm saying? You might be in that space, but you need people to tell you what they see in you. And some people will just be like, oh yeah, you'll be fine. Like, you'll figure it out. And it's just talk, you know what I'm saying, to get through the conversation. But there's some people who really see that in you. You understand what I'm saying? You have to listen to those people.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have those people, this ain't a religious podcast, but man, if you believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, you have the Bible. Believe what those words say. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, or whatever you believe, whatever you know what I'm saying, whatever you subscribe to, believe what that says. Because ultimately, we were not designed or put on the earth to suffer. Remember that truth. No one was put on the earth to suffer. Like, that's not the end goal. That's not your end all be all. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. To answer your question, yeah.
I love that. So we're gonna go ahead and take a break, and we will be right back after these messages.
Hey.
All right, and we are back. I have to say, Tolu, you are actually doing a phenomenal job as my little co-host for the week.
Hey, man. Thank you, man.
And I would love to have you back eventually as well.
Of course.
So, We're going to go ahead and go into the tea time portion. So I have the questions pulled up right here for us to go ahead and answer for you guys. And if you guys would like to go ahead and ask questions to Settling Podcast yourself, you can go ahead and email your questions to asksettlingpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram at CindyRellaOG and the Settling Podcast Instagram, which is Settling Podcast, to go ahead and ask your questions on there whenever I present you guys with the new guest of the week. So today, the first question says, I am feeling completely alone and lonely in my early 20s. I don't have anyone special in my life to talk to. My good days are behind me, and it feels like life is just going to be 45 hours of work a week and bills from here on out. All my friends are gone, and it's just me and my thoughts. How can I get out of this?
What you got to say on that one?
Me?
Yeah.
What do you have to say on that one?
What do you have to say?
Not as fighting, but who's going to answer first? Okay. I feel like there are periods of times in my life where I feel like this often. And I did feel like this in my early 20s. And it's so funny because every next year that I get into, I look back on my past years and I'm like, man, I was really living those past years. I always look at my life like that. Every time I turn a new age, I'm like, man, I wish I was younger because I was enjoying life a lot more. But in the moment when I was occurring,
Let me see the question.
sure.
My bad.
No problem. In the moment when it was occurring, I did not appreciate it for what I actually had, the life delicacies that I actually had. So to answer your question, I had to take myself out of my own misery and start trying to appreciate the moments that I was presented with. The people that were in my life, or if I didn't have any people in my life, I would try to find ways to have more people around me if that's what I wanted. I would try to find experiences within myself that would make me feel happy. That's why I got Princeton, honestly. I knew I didn't want to live life alone, and I wanted to make actions towards that to not feel like that. But I will say the feelings that you have right now, a lot of people do have those feelings, but it's not something that you can't crawl out of. It's not something that is going to be forever. I think, as we were talking about earlier, the positions that we are in, we often think that that's what is going to be forever. As you said earlier, you feel like life is going to be 45 hours of work a week and literally nothing else after that and just paying bills. It doesn't have to be, though. Finding things that make you happy are a trial by error situation, but it's not going to happen by you just going through the motions. You have to put yourself in positions to where you're not going to be the most comfortable to be able to experience the pleasures of life. I know sometimes I tell myself I hate working out, but when I finally get in the gym and on my way out, I'm dancing. I'm ready to take on my days.
Facts.
I always tell myself I really hate going out. I hate going out and hanging out with people. I really hate it. I really
Oh
do.
my gosh.
I really do. But when
She
I
be having
finally,
the time
whenever
of her life,
when
bro.
I finally get outside, I'm like, yeah, what's up? Let's go. Like, that's me as soon as I get outside. So it's really like taking yourself out of the places where you feel like you hate and finding what can be pleasurable to you in those moments.
That's a fact.
To me, at least. What about you?
That was a beautiful answer.
Thank you.
But yeah, so it talks about being completely lonely and alone. And like you said, she's not alone, or she or he is not alone in that feeling. And so many of us feel that way. And it's two parts that I want to talk about. Being lonely and alone, it's okay. Like, it's all right. Don't look at that as a bad thing. We tend to do that because we're comparing our life to someone else's.
I think we do it because we innately want human interaction. We want and need. We have a need for that. I talked about in the last episode Maslow's hierarchy of needs and how social interactions are actually a necessity for humans, and some people don't actually have that as much as they want to. So I think that that's why we want it. And yes, sometimes like we see other people that do have what we want, and we're like, fuck, I want that so bad for myself too, But go ahead, my bad.
No, that's an incredible point too.
Yeah.
We all crave companionship, right? But you can't let that craving for companionship blind you from what you actually need. Because a lot of us don't even know what we actually need. A lot of us just become friends with everybody just because we feel like, oh, yeah, I mean, we should all have friends. That is not how life should work. You know what I mean? How many friends did we have in college? 1 million. We knew everyone.
We did.
We was, you know what I'm saying? But now, as we've grown, as we have evolved, I don't want 80% of those people around me. You know what I'm saying? Because I know like it's just not a good situation. So that craving for companionship, that is natural and that's human. But you have to be smart and you have to protect yourself and your energy at the same time. You know what I mean? But let me see the question again. I just want to make sure I hit on all the points. But yeah, with feeling lonely and alone too. And let me ask you this, because we talk about this a lot. If you didn't know, Cindy and I are like introvert extroverts. Like we really love being in the crib, chilling, cooling, watching what's the name of that show?
Flatbush Misdemeanors.
Yeah, watching shows like that, kicking it, ordering food. Like that's really us for real.
Yeah.
But like she said, as she don't want to go out, but as soon as she steps out, as soon as she's in that energy, she's the life of the party.
Okay, I wouldn't say I'm the life of the party. Let's not lie.
She's the life of the party,
I'm not
bro.
No life of the party.
I will drop the videos on Instagram. I will do it. But
okay.
anyway, so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who, let's say someone just moved to Dallas and they just are so lonely and alone. They want friends. How would you recommend that they find them?
Wow. You almost got me stumped. Let me see. How would you?
It really depends, but I think it goes back to this whole thing, which is you have to get uncomfortable. Now, me, I'm very privileged in that I'm going to keep it a bean. Most people I know is through social media. Like, we just followed each other.
Yeah, same.
I seen them out. Hey, what's good? Hey, great conversation.
Okay, you know what? Actually, I take that back. I can actually answer your question. Events. There are always events that are happening. There are always events that people are throwing. And people shoot their friendship shots at events all the time. Like, Joy. You know Joy. I literally invited you to this event and you didn't want to go, but anyway.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You're talking about me?
I'm calling you out. Yes. I texted. You want me to pull up? I will pull up these screenshots.
Pull up the screenshot. I definitely.
Tolu, don't do this to me,
bro. Don't
do this to me.
Anywhere Cindy invites me, I go because I know she don't go out like that, and I love to see. You know what I'm saying? Her in the element.
Look. You're coming with me. I literally said you're coming with me. What on the earth is this?
Yeah, I said, bro, she sent me a random flyer.
It's not a random flyer. It's not
you're coming with me. Didn't even ask. Didn't even give me no details. Just you're coming with me.
Yes, those were the details. All the details are on the flyer.
Okay, keep going. All I said is, what on earth is this? What is this?
Yes, he said, LOL, what on earth is this? I said, it's an influencer event. Sent him the TikTok that Joy posted. And then he said, let's tap in closer to that day. LOL, an event on Wednesday. What an interesting choice.
Where in that did I decline the invite? Where? Wow, I really just did that to you on your own podcast.
Well, you didn't
That's
go with
crazy.
Me.
You said I'm coming with. By the way, if we talking about discomfort,
okay, all right. Stop.
Yeah, because you know where I'm going. But anyway, yeah. So we were talking about how to, how would you recommend somebody make friends?
No, but yes. Events. So events, there are always things that are happening. I think a lot of people that found out about that event, none of them knew Joy. None of them knew me.
That's what's up.
Yeah, they all came out, they packed out, and they found out about that event through TikTok. There are like, so many different resources that you can find and use to find like, different ways. But I'm one of those people that is scared deathly of going anywhere alone. So I understand the hesitation of wanting to go out in that way. I get it. But that is how I would recommend someone that wants to meet people and stuff like that. Go out to, events that are catered to having people, meet each other like that.
Mutual interest.
Yeah.
And you mentioned this before. It's always something beautiful on the other side of discomfort, like how you were talking about the gym. I don't want to go to the gym, but once you leave the gym, you feel good. It's the same thing with these types of events. I'm sure a lot of people that went to that event felt the same way. Should I even go? Like, will they judge me? I'm finna go along. But as soon as they got there, it was smiles and it was, friendly conversation and it was networking and it was all of these things, and beautiful things came out of that. So
Yeah.
I would say the process starts with you. Figure out, do I feel completely alone because I'm literally just alone? Or am I craving something that maybe I shouldn't be craving? Am I at a point that I'll let something in that I shouldn't let in? Figure out where you are. Make sure you're in a healthy place. You can be alone, but just make sure you're in a healthy place. And then take those steps to figure out, what am I interested in? What can I do based on what's around me? The beautiful thing about 2022 is that even if you're in the middle of Nebraska, you can connect with me. You can connect with City. You can connect with a whole bunch of people in this world.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, she has long distance friends from all over the place. You just told me that she was going where to
California, but she's from here though.
Oh, I didn't know
Are you talking
that.
about when I went to DC?
Yeah. You just went to DC, hooking up with DC homies, California homies. Like, I have homies, all over the place via social media or via all of these different mediums. So there's ways to connect with people.
Yeah.
Like, there's kind of no excuse for that at this point. The only excuse,
besides anxiety.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
The only excuse is that internal battle with yourself of like, I don't know, that discomfort within yourself that you have to get past. So yeah, man, just go back to the question real quick. just get past that. Like, honestly, it's really on you. It's really in your hands.
I think you answered it.
And yeah, the whole thing about like
being just alone with your thoughts.
Yeah, being just alone with your thoughts and your life being, 45 hours a week and all of that. One thing I've realized about life is that nothing matters. Like, nothing really matters. So do what you want in this life.
Yeah.
And I really, really, really mean that. And that's something that if I would have heard this at age like 18, I'm going to keep it a bean. I would have been like, yeah, all right, nothing matters. But like, once you live a little bit of life and you go through a journey, you see all your friends go through a journey, you realize nothing matters. Like, the degree or the career path or the whatever, like, just make your choices and go. And if, let's say, because it sounds like she doesn't really enjoy her job as much, if you want to change your job, bro, change it. It's okay.
Yes, you will go through an uncomfortable position, a very uncomfortable position. Take this from someone that knows and is experiencing it right now. But I'm myself trying to see the brighter side on the other end of it. So, yeah. So the next question says, what's a space of discomfort that you're in now, and how are you planning of getting out of it? I just said mine.
Which was what?
You may got me too. You know what? I'm pretty honest on the podcast.
Yes,
I don't mind being honest on the podcast.
We going there.
So, I for the past 4 months have been going through it. My camera broke, so I was not doing YouTube videos at all. And I also made a decision to stop doing hair videos completely. Now, anyone that knows hair videos and YouTubers and how, a lot of people have been doing hair videos knows how lucrative of a business that was. It was quick, easy, and sometimes good money for some of us. And because I never really had a passion for it, if I'm being honest. And I realized it was not feeding me in the way I wanted it to. And I never wanted that to be a reflection of what Cinderella OG, the brand, is. I didn't want people to look at me as a hair group because I am not. I'm not. My ear tabs be lifting. My lace do not be lacing. I'm not that girl. Okay? I'm not that. You're not that girl. I'm not.
I'm crying.
But I took away a big chunk of my financial dependence by doing that, by no longer, responding to emails to these hair companies.
Wow, that's big.
And by deciding not to do that anymore. And it's put me in a position where I have to continue to make content and, get a bigger bag or find a bigger bag, or get a job. This is the first time y'all are hearing of it, but I am actively seeking a job. I am 26 years old. I no longer have insurance. I'm at that age.
Yeah.
And I want stability. And for the first time in my life, I'm in a position where I am having to come to terms with the fact that to get where I want to be, I'm going to have to go other routes to get there.
Gotta pivot.
That doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing what I love to do. It doesn't mean that I'm, poor, what I'm saying, or anything like that. I just want to be extremely comfortable. And the only way to do that is to put myself in an uncomfortable position. So I am taking a big chunk of, how I make my money to try and make money in a better way. To try and make money in a better way. You know what I mean? I need to fund my lifestyle. I need to fund my, my creative aspirations and stuff like that. Like Settling, the podcast, this is a lifelong dream of mine to have my own podcast and to be able to pour into it. And the only way for me to pour into the many things that I do as an influencer is to be able to have the capital behind it. And the only way to have the capital behind it is to seek something that actually I would want to do. I don't mind, not that I don't mind. The jobs that I'm looking into, applying into and stuff like that are not jobs that it's like, oh, that has nothing to do with what she wants to do. No, it's still stuff that I'm very passionate about, but I am no longer going to have the free time, the hours that I always had before. Does that make sense? So that's the uncomfortable position that I'm putting myself in, that I am going through right now to come out the other side happy.
Yeah.
And it's so weird that I'm talking about it because I don't like talking about the things that I'm going through. I really don't like talking about it. I know I'm honest, but I hate being honest because I feel like honesty and vulnerability allows for people to use that against you and, weaponize that against you, your honesty and vulnerability. But I don't mind being that person because I know a lot of other people can't be that people. So I'm not saying I'm a martyr or anything like that, but I'm just saying this is something that I love to do because I feel like it helps people. And if that's, how I can serve the people that watch me every day, then I would rather do that than sit in silence and suffer alone.
That's a fact.
Let's suffer together.
That's a fact. And I want you to know, Cindy, is people like you in this space that really win and really have an impact, that aren't afraid to pull the curtain down. Because these niggas who, I'm sorry.
You can say niggas.
These individuals.
Niggas.
These people who try to paint this picture perfect life, for one, it's getting to a point where even the people who aren't in this space, they know that that's not real. It can't be real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because it seems unattainable, which it actually is.
Literally.
That's the problem that I have, that with people sharing only their highlights. Because I'm not saying, some people are like, oh no, you got to take your L's in silence. I will take my L's publicly. I'm not talking about embarrassingly, not embarrassing. I don't want to embarrass myself, but I will take my L's publicly because I don't look at them as losses. I don't look at them as to be shameful. I'm shameless when it comes to shit like that because if I'm being honest, we all go through them. And my L's are not losses. They're always lessons. Always. And who's teaching me? God.
Facts.
So if he has to speak through me, or if whoever, whatever higher power you believe in, has to speak through me, or if this is my purpose, then I don't mind serving it, even if it looks embarrassing to somebody else, even if someone else thinks it's smelly for me to talk about this stuff, or whatever have you. I don't mind being that person.
That's a fact. And you brought up a really good point too, just on the topic of discomfort. Sometimes your discomfort isn't for you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's to be a testimony for other people.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, so if you're in a situation, like you asked me before, if you're in a situation where it's like, man, am I ever going to get out of this? What is this? Why? I don't deserve this. Like, what is happening? Sometimes it's not about you. Get through it, learn what you got to learn, grow how you need to grow, and then help other people to not go through the same thing. You can share and offer a perspective that people don't have because you went through that thing. You understand what I'm saying? Or you're having this experience. And whatever's on the other side of it will be that much sweeter because you came out of it not only with whatever it is that you want on the other side of it, but you also have wisdom that you didn't have before, But yeah, that's fire.
So what uncomfortable position are you in right now that you try to climb out of?
Oh, for sure. I could talk about that, man.
I know what it is.
I could talk about that. Yeah. So at the moment,
you're already shaking the table.
Yeah, man. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? Feel me.
Yeah, I didn't even see that. Look at my face. You remember peripheral.
But look, man. Right now, I do not have a vehicle. I have no car. I have no whip. Nothing. And I'm on month like 4, maybe 5 of no car. And yeah, so let me explain what happened. Yes. Are we good on time? Can we just talk?
Just talk. Okay. Go ahead.
But yeah, so here's what happened. So during my quote unquote purposely homeless phase of life, I was driving to Houston because within that time, one thing I did was a complete career change, a career switch.
Yes.
So I was actually interviewing for a couple of jobs after so long of nothing, of just rejection, emails, all of these things. So I was finally interviewing. So what I wanted to do is, instead of like, moving around couch, I wanted to kind of just be stationed somewhere for at least a week, 2 weeks to interview. So I went home to Houston. I went from Dallas to Houston. And I was 4 minutes away from my house. 4 minutes. I drove the entire, what is it, like 2.5 hours? Or not 2.5, 4? 4.5.
4 hours, yeah.
4.5 hours to Missouri City. I was 4 minutes away. 4 minutes. My car stalls out in the middle of the road. On top of that, it's raining. Pouring.
That's Houston for you.
Pouring.
Yeah.
So I call like AAA or whatever, and they tell me, yeah, like your engine looks crazy. Like it looks like it's self-destructed. So towed it to the crib. Long story short, I have no car. My engine it was a really old car. It held me down for a long time, but it was a really old car.
Yeah.
Mind you, I just said I'm interviewing at this time. So like I'm kind of in between jobs, you know what I mean? So I didn't know what my financial situation was going to be. I didn't want to commit to a car right then and there. Yeah. So I was like, okay, no car then. And I'm not going to get into it. A car is on the way. Thank you, God. It's on the way. It's secured. I don't have it, but it's secured. But yeah.
My boy.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's been 4 or 5 months without a whip. And let me tell you, it's been tough. I'm a grown man. No car. None.
He been walking.
You know what I'm saying? I be walking. Walking. You know how hot it? Do they know how hot it is in Texas?
I don't think they know how hot it is.
It's 100 plus degrees.
It could be dry heat. It could be moist heat. Whatever it is, it's 104 every day over here.
And I be walking, running errands, whatever I gotta do. I'm literally in these streets, like for real.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show, man. Whatever's in front of you, just thug through it, thug it out, and embrace that experience. Because guess what? I joke about this with the homies. Like, I lost my car right before gas prices went crazy.
Sure it is.
So it's like the timing of it is just kind of funny. Also, at the same time, I lost my car around the time when I decided to get back into like fitness. And I run everywhere now. I walk everywhere. So it's like I have the physical like I'm okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have no whip, but I'm okay. So it's very uncomfortable. But yeah, I'm thugging through it. I'm okay. And I know, again, that there's something on the other side of this that is gonna be beautiful, and this testimony is and will be amazing, especially at the end of it. So yeah, that's
Amen.
one
Amen.
area.
All right. So that's going to be it for tea time. And now we're going to go ahead and get into our loud and wrong portion. I know I switched it around this week, guys. Trust me, believe me, it's been a long day. So I'm really trying to just get my head back scrambled, you know. But my loud and wrong this week is going to go to myself. I have a very horrible habit of throwing many a pity party of one for myself. To where I self-loathe and I speak so like doubtingly of myself. I speak so horrible of myself to where you would not even think that I'm speaking of the person that you see today. I am not going to say that's going to stop today, but I need to start making action towards not believing that my misery is permanent, or really just start, stop soaking in it. I soak in it like I could sit in the pool for 3 hours. And that's a big problem of mine that I have. I love to wallow in whatever I'm going through. Even if I'm working through it, I still am like, well, it doesn't mean it's going good for me. Even if I have a blessing, I downplay it so much. And I'm trying not to be that person, because it's not a pleasant person to be around. It's not a pleasant person to be. So that's my loud and wrong. I'm loud and wrong for doing it to myself.
And you want to know what's crazy?
What?
The thing about Cindy is, like, we talked about this earlier, you're solutions based. So it's like I said, whenever something isn't perfect or something went wrong or just whatever, you automatically kind of know what you're going to do or the route you're going to go, or you have something in place.
Yeah.
You will just, again, sit in that shit and complain or do whatever synonym you want to use. You'll do that, but it's almost hard to how do I explain this? I can try and uplift you, but it's like whatever I say, it's almost like you already know. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm like, yeah, Cindy, just, you just gotta make a plan. You already made the plan, you know what I'm saying? Or like, oh, I mean, just, yeah, just keep your head up and blah, blah, blah. Like, you need to do that, but maybe for that day, you just choose to not, keep your head up that day. So it's like, and that it's true for a lot of us, I guess. It's like, what to do already. It's just, you make the choice to, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So stop making that choice, I guess.
All right, y'all. We're back and it's time to wrap up the show. So, Tolu, how are you going to choose not to settle this week?
One thing about me, like, I know we've talked about discomfort on a high level, but even just like, let's say I'm like working or I'm like trying to do something or I'm designing something and I'm just not feeling it, or I don't know, if I'm just procrastinating, whatever, I'm just going to push past that feeling, because, again, going back to what you said about the gym, it never feels good to do that thing, but the other side of that thing always feels good. So it's hard. It really is. I really want to scroll on TikTok and sit in the bed and just chill, but yeah, I'm gonna try and, cut through that this week.
Amen. I like that. This week, I think I am going to, for every bad thing I say to myself about myself, I'm going to say 3 better things. I'm going to try.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm going to try and encourage myself as much as I can this week.
And you know what that's called?
What?
Gratefulness. And that's the key. That's the key to all of this. I may not have X, but I got Y, and that's okay. And I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. So that is going to be how I choose not to settle for discomfort this week.
I like that.
But yes, guys, that is going to be the end of this show for today. And I've got to say, this has got to be one of my favorite episodes.
Hey.
I'm very pleased with the conversation. Today actually was a horrible day for me starting off, but you made it better. Your words, your encouragement, your presence, and I gotta say, I like to give my homies my flowers whenever they're here, or their flowers rather here. And you deserve. You are an awesome human being, and you're a light to anyone's life, and I love you so much.
I love you too, man. You already know, man. Like I said, as soon as I walked in here, like I love what you're doing. I love you, and I'm proud of you, and I'll always be there for you. I told you that on the phone this morning. This is not cap. I literally said this morning on the phone. So likewise, 100%.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not gonna get emotional or anything. But that is going to be it for today's show, guys. Tolu, tell them how they can reach you.
Man, my phone number, 281.
Shut up.
Oh, yeah. Instagram, Twitter, at Tolu_AUGUSTINEE, 2 E's. TikTok, just follow me on TikTok, bro.
Anything Augustine.
Anything Augustine, CBYA online as well. Tap in.
Mm-hmm. And you guys can go ahead and reach me personally at CinderellaOG on all platforms. That's on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and you can find Settling Podcast on Instagram at Settling Podcast. Email us for business inquiries at settlingpodcast@gmail.com. And if you guys have any questions for the tea time portion, go ahead and hit us up at asksettlingpodcast@gmail.com. And make sure you're looking out on the Instagram for all announcements regarding Settling Podcast. I would love to see you guys in the next episode. Stay blessed and beautiful gems. Or wow, I am acting like this is YouTube. It's not. So with that being said, let me go ahead and go to my settling outro. Let's settle. Or not. Bye, guys.
Bye.
I can't live with you, but I can't live without you.